I've been waiting on some better days, better days, better days. Yo, what's going on, everybody? In today's video, I thought I would just play some town and rant about life, and then if this video does well, I'll continue. So yeah, why don't we just get started, getting a few kills, maybe open up the bar, get some quick revive. There we go. Knifing system in Black Ops 2 has always been the most consistent compared to any other COD game. Weird thing is, a lot of my friends hate the knifing. They think it's so janky, but I don't know. I feel like they must not have played World at War. This knifing's very easy to understand. You dash into him, you knife, no lunge, unless you want there to be. All right, it's the end of the first round. I'm gonna go hop in from the sideways, a little bit unorthodox, but very ironic for the Orthodox Inquirer. Now that was a good drink. Box is up there as well. Gonna need to hit that. You ever feel like you don't have friends? I think I have people I talk to on Discord, but there'd probably be very few that I consider like personally good people that like share my values, you know what I mean? Because for me, it's like, I'm a Christian, I have Christian views on all the social issues, but most people you're gonna find online are gonna be more secular leftist types. And then I'm in a blue state on a blue campus, so I feel like I'm getting fucked all directions, you know what I mean? And I'm also worried because the midterms are not looking good, because the approval rating of Donald Trump, from what I've heard, is going down in the drain. Primarily because of his advertisements of ICE, the sort of performative cruelty, the Epstein file stuff, and then also with this war on Iran. I'm pretty sure people say it's the most unpopular war ever. And while I really like what he's done for the social order regarding abortion, transgenderism, I like the tariffs in theory, even though they haven't really worked. I really do want to bring manufacturing back to our own country. Although he kind of sidestepped that with the H-1B scan, now that I think about it. So yeah, I guess he really doesn't do that much good in a second term so far, but from what I can gather as someone who's only 20, the first term seemed to be really good. And I don't know, I feel like it's sort of a failed opportunity because he lost in 2020, we got Biden, and that was a shit show because it was basically Obama puppeting a normal guy with dementia as like the DNC primary candidate for 4 years. And so people are like, okay, we can't deal with this nonsense, so let's give this Trump guy another chance. And then now, you know, people get this, and unfortunately they are not happy with it. So that's what's worrying me, because more and more people, according to these polls, if they're reliable at all, are planning on voting Democrat or just abstaining. And it's all very unfortunate. I don't think that there's really a light at the end of the tunnel. I think I'm just gonna have to kind of deal with living in a country with people that I don't like and navigate a culture that I despise, or just leave. And that's really scary, because starting a new life in another country is scary. Like, I was looking at some countries I might want to move to if the need be, and it's like, what do we got? Greece, they're Orthodox Christian, so even though in a lot of places where abortion is legal in Greece, doctors will not even perform it because they just don't want to. Like, that's how Christian the country is. But their economy like fluctuates between being really great and really terrible. And then also I'd obviously have to learn a new language, which applies to obviously all of these countries, and it's always a pain. Japan is really nice as well, but obviously I'd have to learn Japanese, which is one of the hardest languages to learn. And also they're very hostile to immigrants, which, I mean, I understand it, it's based to an extent, but it's just rather unfortunate for me. And there's some really good Christian countries in Africa, but they're all poor. Poland seems really stable. Like, I feel like if I was gonna move, that would probably be my best bet, honestly, because it's a very similar culture to America and a similar style of government, just like your typical Christian democracy, right? And they're like predominantly right of center and have been for a very long time, and their culture doesn't seem like it'll destabilize. Their economy is always doing okay. I never really hear about any problems economically from there. Their president's a really great guy, from what I can tell from watching interviews of him. And if I can think of more countries that I've written down, I'll bring them up later on in the video, but that's about all that comes to mind right now. And it's like, yeah, so the best bet would be Poland, but even moving to another country in general is just a whole big mess. So yeah, if the culture goes to shit here, it's just gonna be really inconvenient for me, so I hope that doesn't happen. But I don't know, what do you guys think? For the leftists in the audience, I'm wondering if you feel the same way, but the opposite way around, maybe? That would be interesting. One thing that really bugs me when I talk to people on the left, and I literally mean like anyone left of center on the political compass, is like a lot of the revisionist history they accuse the right of doing, they'll participate in themselves. So like, for example, they'll say America was never a Christian nation, Constitution. And all the rhetoric around that just feels like gaslighting. I feel like they kind of weaponize separation of church and state a bit too much. Because if you look at the founders, they were pretty explicit in a lot of their Christian influence. You know, obviously the God word is mentioned in the Constitution and the Federalist and Anti-Federalist papers. John Adams suggested that the Constitution could only work if you have a religious people, right? And then also there were like blatantly Christian laws everywhere that they oversaw, you know? There's like sodomy laws, adultery laws, I'm pretty sure. Not sure if abortion was popular enough, but if it was at the time, I'm sure that was outlawed as well. And then to become a government official in a lot of the different states initially, you had to be a Christian. And in some places, I'm pretty sure it was even to vote initially in a lot of the 50 states. Sometimes you need to be a Christian. And so, yeah, like when you have a country comprised of 13 colonies and even for a small amount of time the 50 states behaving in that kind of way, I don't think it's exactly fair to say things like this is not a Christian country, like flat out. Even if someone means like it's not currently a Christian country, the idea that you get or that you're pumping into the statement this is not a Christian country is that it wasn't meant to be, which obviously that's not true. And some of my friends will be like, my quote-unquote friends I guess will be like, oh man, well they were just deists, a lot of them. But it's like, so what if they were heretics, deists, or even if they just believed in natural law like John Locke? They were clearly participating in a Christian culture. They were clearly enforcing Christian law. Christianity was clearly intended as the primary root of governance in a lot of the different states. And so that doesn't really matter. And also, it's not like none of the founding fathers were Christian, right? Obviously, there were a ton of them who were. Maryland was a Harvard for Catholics at one point. That's how Christian this country was. Why is this box not giving me a good weapon? I got this like single 5.7 10 times already. I think at one point it gave me the War Machine as well. But I was talking, so I didn't acknowledge it. There we go. We got the Galil. That's something that's a little bit better. I can rock with that. There you go. Grab some Juggernog. I need that. We're on round 9. It's gonna get risky if we don't have Juggernog by now. I'm gonna go get Stamina up, and I don't think in this run I'm gonna go for Speed Cola. I'd rather keep that door closed so that way the spawns are faster. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go for double tap. Holy crap. These boys are getting a little intense. There we go, we finished it. I'm also gonna pack the pistols. I feel like I should have done that a while ago. I'm a little bit late to it, but there we go. Probably would have been a lot faster if I grabbed the Galvanucles and just didn't buy anything at first, but it's whatever. We finally got everything we need. So now we really gotta save up for is upgrading this little Galil. Also, did you guys know that Galil is an Israeli weapon? I didn't know that until one of my friends told me that. But speaking of Israel, it's honestly crazy to me how much that specific conflict has taken over the culture. There's people who've like made it their entire personality to just be like pro or anti-Israel, and it's very cringe. Like for me, I don't believe in rights, so I don't think any country has a right to exist, including Israel. I just sort of believe if you can defend your own country, then it will live. And I don't think we should interfere in any foreign wars that won't concern us, such as the Israel-Palestine conflict. There's like a completely isolationist kind of guy, you know? I don't believe we have any moral duty to protect any other countries. Which is why I also don't support our money going to Ukraine, for instance. Compared to most people on my side, I would say I'm pretty Ukraine apologetic. I feel really bad for them, and I don't like what Putin's doing to them at all. Very sad. Well, I know it's super stupid as well, how a lot of people say Jesus is a socialist. It's like, you don't believe in the religion, you don't respect it, you actively fight it out of like all of our institutions, and then you have the nerve to want to claim multiple different things about my God. I mean, are you kidding me? And then they just, you know, they say he supports their political agenda because it's convenient, and they're just like doing the meme. Like if I find it, I'll put it on screen now, of like, I know I'm not the Christian here and I hate your God, but Jesus would support what I'm currently supporting and not what you're supporting, so you should change your opinion to mine. And that stuff is just so pretentious. It's so obnoxious. I hate that more than anything. I hate that more than like an honest atheist who like just will not even pretend that they care about what Jesus preached. You know? But yeah, back to the socialist thing. Is like socialism as an ideology didn't exist back then. I don't think like government structures really existed back then the same way they do now. It's like, if anything, Jesus is fairly lenient with taxation compared to a lot of these socialists, to the extent that it even existed back then. Like what? It's a 10% tithe we pay as Christians. We're obligated to give 10% of our wealth to charities and things like this. And then additionally, we help out, you know, homeless people. We see them on the street and whatnot. But yeah, like the Christian moral prescription is to be taxed to like 10% and then give to charity every now and then, give to the homeless. So it's like, if that's socialism, then Bernie Sanders is a capitalist. All right, that's like upside down world. All right, so that's his bag's example. Bernie's fairly moderate on economics. But it's like saying Marx was a capitalist. That's a better analogy. All right, here we go. Round 14. We're gonna start doing like the actual legitimate straining strategy to get these rounds done a little faster. And the Mustang and Sally's will do the trick indeed. All you gotta do, get them all in a line, pop. Like, these boys are awesome. They do so much damage just like that. Only thing that sucks is there's no PhD on this map, so you constantly have to back away before you shoot or else you'll down yourself. All right, so it's more like 2 shots before the full heart is destroyed, but that doesn't really matter. Like, that round took how long? Like a couple seconds? How long have I been recording? We're 26 minutes. Okay, so I'm not actually making good time, but it's whatever. By the way, would you guys want me to make videos like this while I'm doing Easter eggs? I feel like I'd be more than down to do that if people were willing to watch. Because those videos would just be a lot longer with like all the apping and all the Easter egg steps, you know? It would be a lot more high effort than, you know, surviving on these small survival maps while talking. Like, dude, I've been thinking like maybe I could do like a Voyage of Despair Easter egg run with like commentary like this. I don't know, how do you guys feel about that? Another thing that I was thinking about that I find interesting is the Triloon's Dilemma or whatever it's called. I heard Not So Erudite talking about it with a debate she had with Andrew Wilson. I just found it interesting because I didn't dive deep into it because Andrew is like a rhetorical genius. They kind of dodged it, I guess. But he was saying that there's no need to answer it because it disproves itself, because the premise is basically when you reduce everything down, every worldview, you're going to end up at a starting point which contains a presupposition which cannot be justified. So he's like, okay, and is that true? So in other words, is that rule actually true? And then obviously the conundrum is, well, no, right? Because the rule can't justify itself. And so that's why they moved on. But I don't know. I feel like it would have been interesting if they explored that further, because from my perspective, I kind of do think that if the rule disproves itself, it also proves itself, if that makes any sense. Like, I feel like that kind of contradiction kind of exists, because if the rule is that every worldview eventually boils down to something which cannot be justified, and then it also applies to itself because that means the rule cannot be justified, that kind of proves the rule too, I feel like, no? But I don't know, maybe I'm just yapping about something that I'm out of my depth on. Like, what do you guys think? Do you guys think you could tell me any worldview that can be completely justified with zero presuppositions at all? I don't think so, and it's interesting to think about. Like, I feel like Christianity, there's gonna be a way that we can have that worldview and have like a complete 100% concrete philosophical foundation for it, but I don't know if anybody can actually articulate that 100% perfectly. So I would like to see that concept explored further. Does the Christian worldview hold up to Triloon's Dilemma? I love how I'm pretending like I know what I'm talking about when I don't even know the name of this theory or this conundrum or whatever it's called. But yeah, my bad if I made absolutely zero sense there and you were not at all tracking what I was saying. I was talking to one of my friends, actually a couple of them, there's a group of them, and they think that monarchy or fascism is better than democracy. Whereas I'm more of like a Christian democracy sort of guy. But it got me thinking, it's like I presuppose liberal democracies are good because I've lived in one my whole life and I have a lot of pride in the United States, and that's how we've always functioned. Technically as a constitutional republic, but you understand the point. And it's like every single time the fascistic or I guess no, monarchies have worked, right? There's been good kings, I'm sure. But the thing is, they're always going to be passed up by a bad one eventually at some point, right? Because what's it going to go by? Bloodline? You know, they might be selected by the church, but it's like, can you really entrust, like even let's say the true church, which I believe to be probably the Orthodox Church, right? Can they be entrusted to select a political leader? Because they're not like divinely ordained to do that, right? They're divinely ordained to do what they do, if that makes any sense. So it's like to choose them as the arbiter of who is good politics, I feel like is kind of completely arbitrary. So like it's either bloodline, the church picks it, or like what? You're gonna vote on it? Then it's not a king anymore, right? Or I guess it is, because there's no life. But yeah, I mean, if you're voting on it, what would that be? A democratic monarchy? I don't know, would that be good? Even then, I don't know, because it's like I don't want the same guy leading me for like the rest of his life, depending on how long he has to go. Like, what if he's shit? I just gotta deal with him. And if he can be ousted, then it's not really a monarchy anymore, is it? But I don't know. It's like a conversation that's happening on the like quote unquote new right. In the new right spaces, and I just thought it was interesting because it's like, yeah, I presuppose Christian democracy, liberal democracy, constitutional republics, they're like fundamentally good things, but I don't know if I can justify them. I haven't actually had a debate yet where I've had to defend democracy because everyone, like a lot of people, most people here would just kind of presuppose that it's good. So I would definitely be interested in exploring in what is the defense on why the democracy is always best. I don't know, but I do think so. I just gotta look into it. Or like, I can't ground why it's innately good, but I mean, I suppose I can just say because all the other systems suck in comparison, but that's kind of lazy. It doesn't actually ground it in anything good, you know? And then also, there's like different ways people quantify, okay, what's a success, what's a failure, you know? So it gets complicated and wishy-washy. Like, how do you know a government's working? Yada yada, that type of shit. Because like, what if someone's like, no, I disagree. There's not a lot of fascist governments that have failed, and I prefer to live in a fascist dictatorship over a democracy. So what am I supposed to say to that, you know? Crazy, but I don't know what to say to that. And maybe that's actually wrong. Like, maybe I just can't think of any, but there's a lot of like fascist regimes besides H-mans that failed and were evil. Yeah, I couldn't think of them off the top of my head. I'd have to look it up. I feel like I would make a good president, but I would never run or try to run for anything because it's so much effort. And you need to have so much money, and you have to appeal to so many people. I don't know. I feel like when you're a politician, when you have to appeal to that many people, that was a close one. I'm so glad I managed to get that max ammo, but I feel like you eventually kind of lose yourself, you know, in the opinions of others. You're sort of like beholden to your people and whatnot. Like super PACs or whatever, or like PACs in general. But like, once you're a politician, you need that money to be an effective politician in the first place, right? And you want to be effective because you want to make the change you want. But in order to make the change you want, you need their money. And a lot of the times when they're giving you their money, you're beholden to their ideas that you don't necessarily like. So I don't know. I feel like modern day politics, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like, I feel like back then, money was not involved nearly as much. Like, that's how America should function. We should get money out of politics. I feel like most people probably agree with that, right? Left and right. Unless you're like a super duper, like, oh, free market capitalism's the best, never interfere in anything no matter what, which is super stupid. But besides those types of people, like the ANCAPs, or like people who make capitalism their entire political personality or religion, I feel like 99 of American voters probably would say we should get money out of politics, you know? So I'm pretty curious as to why something like that has not been proposed, because I feel like it'd be very popular. I feel like everyone who signed off on it would be congratulated and rewarded greatly. But maybe it's because, like, they're already beholden and they want to keep getting the money. That's probably why. They don't want to lose that shit. Like, once you're giving someone a free flow of money, who's gonna want to get rid of that, you know? But of course, you can also have it to where, like, it ends with them or something like that. Like, they're the last group of people that can continue taking the money. And then maybe they'll be a little more likely. So we could maybe do something like that, but I don't know. That's wishy-washy. It's wishful thinking as well. Because like, yeah, all these people bitching and moaning about AI pack, bitching and moaning about Qatar on the other side. You know, you got Ben Shapiro. And it's like, oh my God, these people would shut up so fast if they just got money out of politics. Here's another part of it. It's like, another part of it is not even just the money. It's like the fake shit, you know, that really is stupid. Like, oh, you're a grifter. She's grifting. He's grifting. They're getting guitar money or iPad money. Like constant accusations, unfounded accusations, the constant like name calling because we have money in politics is such a fucking headache. I hate it so much. Of course, there are people who are beholden to AI packing guitar, but not nearly as many. Not nearly as many as the internet would lead you to believe, I would say. What do you guys think about modern dating and modern women? I don't know. I feel like as a man, I'm kind of fucked, especially on the campus, dude, in a blue state. Like, what? I feel like I'm definitely not gonna be able to find a virgin. It's gonna be hard enough to find a woman below a double-digit body count. And yes, it's bad. Having a large body count makes you an immoral person until you repent for it, in my eyes. You know, as the Christian. And I don't know, maybe secularists don't stress about it as much. Maybe they really don't care. But I feel like at the back of your mind, if you're like a virgin incel type of guy, That has to eat away at you. Surely, right? But there's no way these people are like sleeping fine at night, knowing that, you know, their girl's been around the block. I just don't believe it. I can't buy something like that. And I do think it lowers value objectively in the moral landscape. I don't think it's like something that's made up by evil men wanting to control our body, blah, 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 blah. It's like, everything's about autonomy. Just like the abortion question, right? Like my autonomy. But like autonomy is an argument in and of itself to justify something, you know what I mean? I know there's a whole other conversation, but I just gotta talk about it. It's always been on my mind. Like, prostitution, abortion, a lot of stuff is justified by autonomy alone, and it really rubs me the wrong way, only because it's so selective. Because there are so few people who say this and are libertarian. Most of the time they're like, you know, center-left Democrats who are saying stuff about autonomy, right? And I don't know. Like that worldview, holding that typical Democrat worldview, and then also talking about autonomy is just so funny to me because it's so selective. Like, for instance, masks, vaccines, school choice, right? Like all of these things, they would definitely be anti-autonomy on. Civil service, there's mixed feelings about that. I feel like conservatives support it more so because they're more patriotic, but a lot of Democrats as well. Civil service, the draft for men, right? And there's just so, you know, being a child and going to school, period. It's so arbitrary. There's so many things that violate our autonomy every day, and we don't care because it's for the betterment of the society. So I just hate when they use that as an argument and they try to be like, you're evil for not having autonomy as the ultimate value as an American. It's like, you don't either. You just don't realize it because you're a fucking sheep. You're stupid. You know, autonomy is not the end all be all. I really don't. That really grinds my gears. You know, when people pretend like that's the end all be all, because it's definitely not. Definitely not. Otherwise, people would be out there murdering each other, and we wouldn't have a problem with it, right? And then people will create these arbitrary lines, right? Like, oh, well, that's different because that harms people. You know, things like prostitution, abortion, contraception, that doesn't harm anybody. But it's like, that's an arbitrary line, right? And then they'll draw other arbitrary lines, such as, you know, oh, well, they're a child. They don't need autonomy. They don't need to not go to class. But it's like, who decided all this shit, bro? It was just you. This is not like an objective metric, right? Grounded in anything more. Like, these people can't use objective metrics, right? Because they don't have God. So, I don't know. They're like vague appeals. Vagueness and vague appeals piss me off so much, and the left does it constantly. That really gives me a headache. Really does. There's gonna be so many angry leftists in the comment section. If you're a chill leftist, please comment, and I'll heart your comment for being nice to me. So be nice, and then we can talk on Discord and make a video together. Dang, round 25. Okay, feel like I'm doing pretty good. Yo, tell me in the comments as well, boys, what is your highest round on town? Because mine, I'm pretty sure, is around like 55, 56, something like that. So I'm curious as to whether I'm in like the normal range or if I'm kind of shit. But yeah, back to modern dating, because we kind of skipped over it because I got mad about autonomy. I don't know, I feel like not only is it the body count thing, but it's like their beliefs as well. Most women, I'm pretty sure, like you're just so much more likely to meet a woman and she's left-leaning than right-leaning, you know? And that's so stupid. And the reason it's particularly stupid is because they all became Democrat over abortion. Like, if you're gonna be a Democrat over any issue, does it have to be abortion? Like, your single issue vote is like the death of children. Like, that's super cringe to me. And then it's like they'll do the no, it's about my autonomy argument, which we already got into, so we're not gonna rehash that, you know? But we've already explained why that's a stupid thing. And it's like with the spread of OnlyFans as well. Like, oh, imagine that you meet a nice girl, you go out with her, you find she's a fucking OnlyFans. Like, Jesus Christ! I saw you show your fucking dick to someone online for $5. Although I don't know how you'd find out about that unless you were a degenerate yourself, to be fair. I feel like it's podcast talk. Maybe instead of playing video games, I should start a podcast with people. But I don't have any fucking friends. So again, boys, we want to be my friend. Oh, that was close. And start a podcast with me? Do join the Discord. Well, let me get that insta-kill before it fades out, hopefully. There we go, I gotcha. Just get switched to the bullet weapon, to the pistols for a little while. Get some easy dubs right here. Boys, it's 12:19 a.m. There's a fire drill tomorrow morning. like 6 o'clock. I'm gonna be so fucked. Uh-oh, gotta jump out. I almost died right there, man. Yeah, Lamentation and Mustang and Sally, dude. This is a solid getup we got right here. I'm glad I chose this loadout. It would have been easier if I was playing one of the newer Call of Duties, though. Could have just spawned in with my loadout. But man, fuck Black Ops 7, dude. Like, the new Nuketown map sucks. 2 previous maps were bangers, but it's like, oh man. Activision just, you know, they reminded me that they were also a progressive studio, which pissed me off during a certain month, obviously. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And then also, the skill-based matchmaking and the multiplayer came back. Like, what the fuck? Like, dude, just keep SBMM out of the game. I was loving it during the beta. The beta! As a brilliant man named Blame Truth, the Godfather, would tell you. And also, it's like, the new engine, I hate it so much. It grinds my gears. Not enough people talk about that. The engine of Call of Duty fucking sucks. Because it used to be like, Treyarch had a distinct engine, so the games felt different from Modern Warfare, but now everything is on this stupid universal engine. Like, I want to play on this engine. I want a game on a Black Ops 2 engine. I want a game on a Black Ops 4 engine, you know? The Black Ops 4 engine was the peak of engines, in my opinion. And then now everything's going to be the same forever. That fucking sucks so much. Like, literally every COD game from now on is gonna suck because it's all gonna be on the same engine. And then also, you know, all the COD point shit. They always pump everything full of microtransactions. Like, dude, I'll just pay for the maps. Okay, make them DLCs. I'll spend my money on them if they're good maps, dog. Like, fuck these skins, dog. Just come on, bring us back paid DLCs. Get rid of the cosmetics. These stupid ass cosmetics. And dude, it's not even just Call of Duty, it's every game. Like, fuck Fortnite for real, man. Like, it's infected everything like a plague with that horrible idea. Like, if I was president, I would ban it. I would just ban the microtransactions. Like, well, boom, bada bam, problem solved. Why don't we just ban more shit, you know? Like, why don't we throw you in jail if you're a cheater in a video game? Or if you cheat on your spouse. But also, it's like, yeah, it's infected games far beyond Call of Duty. Every single game nowadays has these stupid microtransactions. Like, can we just go back to where games gave us DLC? Like, please, just rewind the clock. Rewind the clock of video games in general, dude. They used to be so much better. And, What's-His-Face talks about this a lot. The one that roasted Actman. Andy Pants Gaming. He's sick. He's awesome. He talks a lot about the, you know, more video game adjacent side of conservatism. I don't know. Maybe I'll be a fresh voice in video game conservatism, because you know, the zombie community needs that. Like, I saw this stupid thing like zombies for trans kids from like small YouTubers trying to start. Thank God it never took off. That would have been so lame. Like, if all the big zombie YouTubers gave support that would break my heart. But luckily they did not. It's like, oh, trans kids, dude. It's so weird. Something so sus about that, but we can't get into that. And then it's like, you got FPS Psycho. He's like a YouTuber. More so on the larger side, he's growing. Like, he's not an OG. He doesn't really have an authoritative voice in the community, which is good. But like, on his X bio, he is like LGBTQIA plus ally with a little pride flag. It's like, ugh. I don't know. Does he think he's being cute? Like, he never talks about it in his videos, so which is why it's so weird. Like, he doesn't post anything political on his page. So like, why have that? That's super weird. Like, he must have a lot of like gay friends in his personal life, or like maybe he's like dating a trans girl. Because like, why would you just put that if you never even utter a word about politics? That was so weird to me. But you know who I like and who's made it through trial and tribulation, thick and thin, who everybody hates except me. Mostly because they find him annoying, luckily, not because of the accusations. Mr. T. Lexified. He is a goat. Like, he is a Christian brother, one of the OGs, been through it thick and thin. Is had false allegation upon false allegation brought upon him by his friends, by a girl in the community. Or well, not even in the community, just like a stupid, dumb, you know, bimbo OnlyFans chick. She happens to stream other video games. I know that sounds mean, but she does OnlyFans, so I can be mean to her. I'm normally not that mean, but if you participate like in that sort of realm at all, you know, like OnlyFans, prostitution, that sort of realm, then I will be rude to you and I will like actively dislike you. So just fair warning. Like, you could literally be anything else. Or actually, yeah, you can't be a Satanist. So those are the two things. You can't be Satan. You can't be a Satanist, and you can't be a prostitute. Anything other than that, I think I can respect you. I could kick it with a gay man. I could kick it with a trans person. You know what I mean? But that's too much, dog. You know, being a Satanist or a sex worker. That's where I draw my arbitrary, you know, good person line on who I'll have the dignity to talk to. I'll dignify talking to myself. That's too degenerate. Who knows, maybe people will watch this and we'll have like some, like another small YouTuber will just be like, we need to get these conservatives out of COD Zombies. And it's funny because like I talk to COD Zombies players, most of them are conservative. But it's like the nature of YouTubers, you know, most YouTubers I feel like are leftists. Like Markiplier, like, ugh, the Markiplier. Everyone loves that guy, but he's like the biggest leftist scumbag there is. You know, he's like talked about his child audience, by the way, most of them are young children. Talks to them about gun control, systemic racism, abortion. By the way, he said if you're a pro-lifer and you like Markiplier, just know he thinks you're a piece of garbage. I just thought I'd throw that out there. Like he said, unsubscribe from me. You're a piece of shit. You went on like this whole tirade. Fuck you. You're pro-life. So just so you know, if you're a pro-lifer, Markiplier like actively like has like hatred for you in his heart. So like I'm not out of pocket for calling him a scumbag, okay? Like if anything, it's verbal judo, verbal self-defense, or whatever they call it. But so yeah, there's from who I've spoken to in the zombies community, most of them are actually pretty conservative when I talk to them about politics. It was very interesting. Like one of the only communities I've engaged in where most people like are low-key pretty base, and I like that. So I'm glad that like on a personal level and the cameras are off. You know, most people who play zombies are good people. And when they're on the left, most of the time, they're like center, they're chill. Like they're dark woke, if anything, you know? Most of the zombies community, if they're woke, they're probably like a dark woke kind of woke, you know what I mean? Or like they could say slurs and shit. They don't like criticize you for calling something G-A-Y. They don't use the word racist or bigot or something like this as an insult, you know? Transphobe. Dude, imagine being unironically called a transphobe. If someone thinks they're owning you. Oh, that's the funniest thing. But unfortunately, guys, I do gotta take my leave because it's about to be around 31. There we go, last zombie. Alright guys, so that's gonna be it. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Be sure to dislike if you do not like me and you want me to die. And then also comment down below all of your thoughts and opinions on this matter, okay? And join my Discord and be my friend. God bless you guys. Jesus Christ loves you. Have an amazing day. See you later.